Hi friends, I welcome you to our discussion on the second part of Yojana of the month of August 2018, and this one is based on the theme social empowerment. So in the first part we started our discussion on the different aspects of this month's Yojana, and we discussed the different initiatives with regard to social empowerment in the country. So let's continue our discussion. So friends, in the first part we started our discussion on the different key focus areas of this month's magazine, and we discussed about building an inclusive society and financial inclusion for weaker sections, and we also learnt a bit important points about the social change among SCs and STs, how the government is implementing different sorts of policy measures with regard to these weaker sections of the society. So let's continue our discussion and move to the next topic. And this topic is education and entrepreneurship among the marginalized sections. Now, the lack of skills and education is a very key impediment which makes the weaker sections feel less confident in taking up their responsibilities. So if you do not have the required level of education and the skill set, you will be less confident in doing any particular work. So this is what is keeping them the marginalized, this is what is keeping them the weaker sections marginalized, and they are not able to get themselves accumulated or absorbed in the mainstream itself. And the shortage of finance, the fear of risk, and the lack of functional literacy, these are some of the reasons that are holding them back. And further, due to the lack of education, the persons who want to become entrepreneur in the rural areas, they're suffering from the lack of aptitude. They're not competent because of this lack of knowledge, and the facilities also they're lacking, and whatever facilities they are available, they are not aware of all those facilities because they don't have a proper level of education and skill development. So these are the areas which are very important to be focused upon for the welfare of the marginalized sections in the country. Now, if you look at the participation levels in higher education, now there is something which we can cheer about. The process of social and economic empowerment, it had increased the participation of SCs and STs in the higher education. So this is something which is good for the country, that the participation of SCs and STs in higher education, it is improving. So if you look at the period between the year 2000 and 2015, this has witnessed a higher rate of growth of higher education participation rates for all the groups. Further, the women who are coming from SCs and STs too have benefited tremendously. So this is a very important thing. And this means a huge induction of the first generation of SCs and STs into the folds of higher education. And thus the process of social empowerment begins. So now more and more people are from the first generation of SCs and STs, they are going to get these facilities. So now if they are going to develop, if they are going to start up their families in future, they are going to develop good kinds of families which are having proper sort of knowledge, because these are the persons who are now well aware of the different facilities, well aware about the different education areas, domains, and they can provide a base for development of a proper society in the future. Now, if you look at the entrepreneurship, then the study conducted by Pratham for Niti Aayog, it has suggested that about 70% of the respondents who come from rural areas, they aspire to become self-employed entrepreneurs. So they do not want to work somewhere else, they want to become self-employed, and this is in contrast to their urban counterparts. Further, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor Report 2016-17, it finds there is an increase in rate of entrepreneurship intention to 14.9% compared to 9%. So this is important, that more and more people now they want to start up their own enterprises and businesses, and they also include the people who are coming from rural areas, the people who are coming from the marginalized sections. So that is why it becomes important for the government to provide them proper facilities, proper financing, so that they can become successful entrepreneurs. So with this objective in mind, the government is implementing a four-fold strategy. So government is implementing a four-fold strategy to empower the disadvantaged sections of the society through different entrepreneurship development initiatives. So the government is focusing on social and economic progress among the disadvantaged sections of the society through entrepreneurship development initiatives, and these revolve around these key four areas. First is provision of entrepreneurship trading to SC, OBC youth, women self-help groups, and Dalit clusters. So first one is providing the training with regard to entrepreneurship so that they can become successful entrepreneurs, and this training is being provided to the marginalized sections of the society. Further, we are focusing on creating collaborative synergy between various stakeholders. So we are trying to create synergy between the different institutions which are there. So we are trying to make sure that the people who need the finance, the different institutions who are catering to their needs and requirements, they are able to get in touch with each other and meet their requirements. Next is there regional indexing through research and documentation for program evaluation and improvement. So we are also trying to make up a database so that we can make sure whatever schemes and programs which we are making for these sections of the society, we are able to make sure that they are properly implemented and any shortcomings they are properly evaluated so that they can be removed in the future. Further, the government is focusing on entrepreneurship awareness and orientation for the identified target groups who belong to the disadvantaged sections of the population. So we are organizing different sets of orientation programs so that they can make themselves aware about entrepreneurship skills so that they can become successful entrepreneurs. Now let's take a look at the different sets of initiatives which have been taken up by the government in this direction. So first one is Startup India scheme. So this is a flagship initiative of the government and it is being launched to provide a strong ecosystem which is conducive for the growth of startup business. So now the startups, they are very much emerging in the Indian scenario and the government wants to make sure that we have a strong foundation which is commensurate with the growth of these startups. So that's why the government has taken up this initiative of Startup India. And several programs have been undertaken since the launch of this initiative in January 2016 by the Honorable Prime Minister himself. Now under this Startup India initiative, a 19-point Startup India action plan has been envisaged and it includes different sets of benefits and facilities for the startups like setting up of incubation centers, easier patent filings, provision of tax exemptions, ease of setting up of business, a 10,000 crore corpus fund, a faster exit mechanism among others. Next is Stand Up India scheme. So the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi in his Independence Day speech on 15th of August 2015, he unveiled this game changer campaign which was Startup India, Stand Up India. So this campaign, it aimed at promoting the entrepreneurship at the grassroots level for economic empowerment and job creation in the country. So with the aim of this Startup India, Stand Up India, this Stand Up India scheme was implemented to facilitate bank loans. So under the scheme, we are providing credit facilities through banks and the amount is between 10 lakh and 1 crore, which is being provided to at least one scheduled caste or scheduled tribe borrower and at least one women borrower per bank branch for setting up a greenfield enterprise. So we are providing the different banking facilities and they are primarily being focused upon SCs, STs and women borrowers under this Stand Up India scheme. And the entities to which these benefits are being provided under the scheme, they may be in any sector, maybe manufacturing, services or the trading sector. Next is Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program. Now this Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program, it is a sub-component of Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, that is National Rural Livelihoods Mission of the Ministry of Rural Development. So this Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program, it aims to support entrepreneurs of the rural areas so that they can set up the local enterprises. So we are trying to promote that people who are living in the villages in the country, they are also able to set up startups. They are also able to become entrepreneurs so that they can boost the local economy, they can provide different sets of jobs to the people nearby and they can promote the economic development at the grassroots level. Now this particular scheme, this particular program, it was announced during the budget session of 2014-15 to motivate the rural youngsters, the rural youth to take up self-employment opportunities. They should not wait for anyone to give them jobs, they should create their jobs themselves only with the help of state sponsored financial support which is being provided through this program. Next is Credit Enhancement Guarantee Scheme. Now Finance Minister during Union Budget 2014-15 announced that a sum of rupees 200 crores shall be allocated towards Credit Enhancement Facility. So this facility is for young and startup entrepreneurship, which are belonging to scheduled castes with an objective to encourage entrepreneurship. So that the people from scheduled castes, more and more people, they can set up their own ventures, they can become entrepreneurs. This Credit Enhancement Facility has been set up with a sum of rupees 200 crores. So this is going to help promote entrepreneurship in the rural sections of the society, and this is going to result in job creation, because if more SCs they become entrepreneurs, they are going to set up, they are going to create more jobs which are going to benefit other weaker sections of the society also. So this is going to do this, as well as provide greater set of confidence in the scheduled caste community. Now next, let's move on to social empowerment for differently abled. Now as per the census 2011, if you look at the numbers of persons who are suffering for disabilities in India, this is around 268.14 lakhs, and as a proportion of the total population, it is around 2.21%. So around 2.2% of the country's population is suffering from any set of disability. And even in the disabilities, if you look at the people who are suffering from different disabilities, the highest number of people with disabilities, they have locomotor disabilities, followed by hearing impairment and the visual impairment. Now in India, disabled persons, they are still oppressed, they are marginalized, and they are being denied from an opportunity to live a reasonable quality of life. This is because the society stereotypes them. Society has prejudices that they are inferior, they are not capable of fetching for themselves, they are a burden on their family. So this is the mentality of the society. This is a biased, their biased set of mindset which they are having. So this is what is hindering the development of the differently abled community in the country. So this is what we have to focus upon. Now for the purpose of the development of the differently abled, the government has taken different initiatives. So let's take a look at these initiatives. First is inclusive education for disabled at secondary stage. So under this scheme, we are supporting the children with disabilities who are 14 or above years of age for completing their secondary education from class 9 to 12 in the government, local body, or the government aided schools. So we do not want the children who are suffering from disabilities to leave the school. We want to continue to see them in school. So that's why this scheme has been launched. Further, there is Accessible India campaign. So this campaign was launched in 2015, and it aims at creating universal accessibility for persons with disabilities in environment, transport, information and communication technology ecosystem. So they should have proper sets of facilities, whatever place they visit, whatever transportation systems they access. So this is what is about Accessible India campaign. Further, we are also having an implementation of Persons with Disabilities Act, and under this initiative, we are providing financial assistance for skill development. We are creating a barrier-free environment, and we are running some institutions so that we can promote the development of persons who are suffering from disabilities. Next is Deen Dayal Disabled Rehabilitation Scheme. Now, under this particular scheme, we are providing financial assistance to NGOs who are running the projects which are relating to rehabilitations of persons with disabilities. So we are primarily providing the financial assistance to non-government organizations under this scheme. Next is Information, Communication and Technology. So we are making use of this information, communication and technology regime to provide for the development of the differently abled population. For example, currently news bulletin is being provided with sign language. The government is training around 200 persons in sign language every year for the next 5 years, and this sign language is introduced in more than 25% of the programs, starting with Doordarshan, so that the television, it is being more disabled friendly, so that information, it can be disseminated to the differently abled people in a better way. Next is technology development projects in mission mode. So in order to provide suitable and cost-effective aids and appliances to the person suffering from disabilities, we are having this separate technology development project, in which we are focusing on application of technology for making such interventions, so that we are able to provide to their needs and requirements in a very suitable and cost-effective manner. This scheme was started during 1991. Now let's move to the next one, which is empowerment through political interventions. So here we have to recognize that the political interventions, they are also essential for the development of weaker sections of the society. Now if you look at the term empowerment, it is defined as the expansion of people's capabilities and choices, freedom from hunger and deprivation, and the opportunity to participate in and endorse decisions that affect their lives. So if you are empowered, you are making your own choices, you are having the opportunity to participate in different decisions and to endorse those decisions which are impacting your lives. Now, when we talk about empowerment in a democratic political structure, this means that we are able to provide the proper and effective representation in the different institutions of government to the people who are coming from different sections of the society, so that they can voice their concerns and at the same time participate in different decisions and matters which are to impact their lives. So if we are able to provide political representations to marginalized sections of the society, this will provide them substantial power to negotiate their position with regard to the privileged sections of the society. So they will themselves fetch for themselves, they will make themselves at an equal platform vis-a-vis privileged sections of the society, and this is going to empower them to a greater extent. Now, if we try to understand this from a historical perspective, then we can say that India is a country of village panchayats. Now, to strengthen the democracy, villages had to be strengthened, and India is a country of village panchayats, and this has been strongly believed in by Mahatma Gandhi himself, who gave the concept of Gram Swaraj, or the empowerment of the villages. Due to this vision of Gandhiji, this provision was included in the Article 40 under the Directive Principles of State Policy of the Constitution of India. Further, with the recommendations of Balwant Rai Mehta Committee in 1956, the provision for setting up of Panchayati Raj institutions, it came into the mind of the policy makers, and different initiatives and steps were taken, different other committees were set up, and finally we were able to set up this also in the 1990s, and there was a 3-tier Panchayati Raj institutions in the country which was established. So in this regard, this 73rd constitutional amendment is very important. So this Amendment Act, it came into force on 24th April 1993. Now this is important because it gave constitutional status to Panchayati Raj institutions, and it made mandatory. So it became obligatory on the part of state governments to implement the provisions of this particular act. So this act, it gave impetus to Panchayati Raj institutions in the country to promote social and economic development and improve the living conditions of rural India. So it paved the way for democratic decentralization in the country. So this helped the people at the grassroots level to access the power. They also became a shareholder in the power sharing arrangement of the government. So friends, this was all about our discussion. Now let's discuss some of the important MCQs based on the topics which we have just covered. First is, scheduled castes comprise -% of the country's population as per census 2011. Options are 12.3%, 16.6%, 20.4% or 23.5%. So friends, this we have covered that the SCs comprise around 16.6% as per census 2011. So the correct answer here is going to be option number B. Now let's move to the next question. Which of the following web portal has been launched by the government to monitor allocation for welfare of scheduled castes? Options are eudhan.gov.in, emonitor.gov.in, esamvad.gov.in, eallocate.gov.in. So this we have discussed that this eudhan.gov.in has been launched. So the correct answer is going to be option number A. Now let's move to the next question. Under the Special Central Assistance to Tribal Sub-Scheme, how much percentage grant from the Government of India is given to enable the states to meet the cost of schemes of development for welfare of scheduled tribes? Options are 50%, 75%, 100% or none of the above. So friends, this also we have discussed that for the purpose of development of the tribal areas, we have this special scheme under which 100% assistance is given by the Government of India. So here the answer is going to be option number C, that is 100%. Now let's move to the next question. Rashtriya Vayashri Yojana is a scheme meant for. Options are providing safe and clean environment for senior citizens, providing living assisted devices for benefits of senior citizens, providing life insurance facilities to senior citizens, or none of the above. So friends, this also we have discussed that this Rashtriya Vayashri Yojana, it has been launched to provide living assisted devices for the benefits of senior citizens. So here the answer is going to be option number B. So let's move to the next question. Which of the following is correct with regard to Dr. Ambedkar International Center? Options are: Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi laid the foundation of this center in April 2015 in New Delhi. It functions as a think tank for inclusive growth and related socio-economic issues. Both of the above or none of the above. So friends, this also we have discussed that both these aspects, that this was inaugurated in 2015 in New Delhi and it is a think tank for inclusive growth and social and economic issues. So both of these, they are correct. So the right answer is going to be option number C, that is both of the above. Next is National Backward Classes Finance and Development Corporation is a Government of India undertaking under the aegis of. Options are: Ministry of Women and Child Development, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Minority Affairs. So this also we have discussed that this is an agency operating under the aegis of Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So the correct answer is going to be option number B. Next question. Which of the following is incorrect? National Safai Karamchari Finance and Development Corporation was set up on 24th January 1997. National Backward Classes Finance and Development Corporation was incorporated on 13th January 1992. National Scheduled Caste Finance and Development Corporation was set up by the Government of India on February 8, 1989, or none of the above. So friends, we have discussed all these corporations and we have discussed about the inception, the incorporation years of all these organizations, and here all these they are mentioned correctly. So the answer is going to be option number D, that is none of the above is incorrect. Next question. Which of the following is correct regarding National Scheduled Tribes Finance and Development Corporation? It is an apex organization under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. It came into existence in 2011. It aims at economic upliftment of the scheduled tribes in the country. All are correct. So friends, this is a trick question. We have learned that the scheduled tribes, they are under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So this is going to be incorrect, and this was not set up in 2011. It was set up way back in previous years. Further, the only correct statement is that it aims at economic upliftment of the scheduled tribes in the country. So the answer is going to be option number C. It is not going to be option number D. That is all are correct. Now let's move on to the next question. Which of the following is correct target beneficiary group of Stand Up India scheme? Options are: scheduled caste borrower, scheduled tribe borrower, women borrower, or all of the above. So friends, this also we have discussed that the Stand Up India scheme, it caters to SCs, STs and women borrowers. So here the correct answer is going to be option number D, that is all of the above. Next question. 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act came into force on. Options are: 24th April 1991, 24th April 1992, 24th April 1993, 24th April 1994. So this we have discussed that this act, it came into force on 24th April 1993. So this is going to be the correct answer, that is option number C. So friends, these are the answers to the questions. So friends, this is all about our discussion on the second part of Yojana of the month of August 2018. Thank you.